you know. And the great thing about it is you go out, and even though you're not making any money, I kept telling myself, the hard work you're putting in now is going to pay off later. Yes. So like, I'm actually not getting a physical check, right, but I am working hard and I am going to get paid.
You're writing the check now that you're going to cash later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you're a seasoned vet of the payments industry or a brand new rookie who just heard the term dual pricing for the first time, you're in the right place. This is the only podcast that shares the strategies and stories behind selling merchant services. Welcome to Agent First.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Agent First podcast. I am your host, Justin Vollrath, and I'm excited to be joined today by a good friend, Brandon Springer. Welcome,
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome in, buddy. You're from Columbia, Missouri,
yep.
right?
Yeah. Yep. I was actually born in Springfield, Illinois. Oh. My wife's from Columbia, and we moved back there in 2010.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. How did you meet your wife? I guess
we actually met at Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a bar. So. But she was working back in Illinois, and she found a job in Columbia and wanted to kind of get back. And I was working at a Springfield Pepsi Cola. It was kind of a dead end job, and I'm like, I'll go with you. And moved back in 2010. We got married in 2011. And we've got three boys. Lucas, Benton, and Blake. But it's a good little town.
Yeah, it's a great town. Absolutely.
To be in. So
yeah, Columbia's great. Yeah. So one of the things I always like to kick this off with is, I'm sure when you were in first grade and you were doing your project on what do you want to be when you grow up, you said I want to sell credit card processing, right? That's what you did, for sure. Right, yeah.
I had 3 years ago. I had even no idea what this industry even was. I was clueless. But
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, you're just like me. Like you didn't know what this industry even existed until we got into it, right? And so. Everybody out there is listening to this is the same way, right? And so I'd love to hear your story, like how, what led up to this? What were you doing before? How did you find this industry? Like, let's hear that story.
when we moved to Missouri, I found a job at Aramark Uniform Services.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's actually not called Aramark anymore.
Oh, it's not?
They kind of changed names. But anyways, started off just driving I was a route sales representative driving the big, we call it the rag wagon, but it's the big white truck delivering uniforms, floor mats, shop towels, aprons, towels to restaurants, and did that for about 2.5, 3 years, and got promoted to a district manager. Did that for several years. There was some change in leadership, and they wanted me to go into sales. And I thought, well, I can do this, I've been doing this for 7 years. Surely I can, So I did that for about 1.5 years, and more change of leadership, new general manager. The guy that took my district manager job left, and they needed me to go back to it. And then so went back to district manager. I managed 5 routes throughout mid-Missouri. So I had knew a lot of people. Each route had roughly 100 customers per route. So I had, a lot of contacts throughout mid-Missouri. And then COVID happened, and they kind of did some restructuring, and they added 2 more routes to my district, and they didn't give me any more money. And I was salaried. I'm like, well, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but this doesn't make sense. So I started looking on Indeed for different, applied 3 or 4 different jobs. And this company just instantly called me, email and called, interview, like instantly. And I think it was an account manager, is what the title was.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay. And interviewed. Next thing you know, I'm going up, training. I left the house for a week and sat in the office for 2 days, went out in the field for 3 days, went back home, and you're on your own, kind of thing. And that's kind of how it all started. Got into it, and Justin Farnsworth. He was kind of, I rode with him for the 3 days. Training, and we kind of built a friendship, and we pretty much talk every day. He'll call me, hey, what are you doing today? Or we kind of bounce ideas off each other, but that's how I got got into it, and then it'll be 3 years in
That's crazy.
In January.
That's crazy,
that
man.
I've been
Yeah,
with
time flies.
with Pay Compass, but
Yeah.
it's been you learn something new every day. It's
Right.
an ever changing industry. It's there's a lot to learn, and I wish I would have started. I wish I could have got in sooner, but
We all do, right? Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
here I am, and
Yeah.
we're making the most of it.
You're awesome.
So,
Man. That's awesome.
so.
How do you? So I mean, you're in Columbia, Missouri, right? And are you doing a lot of work in the city of Columbia? Are you going out into the small rural towns?
So
around it? How are you getting customers?
I've been successful. Like, I try to keep an hour and a half buffer from my house in every direction. So I'll go, you know, you take an hour and a half.
Okay.
And so I'll you know, when I first started, I was going pretty far. And I think I've watched several of these podcasts, and I hear you talk about, it's like almost like a mail route or a delivery route. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Mondays I'm going north,
Yeah.
and Tuesdays I'm going west, and Wednesday I'm going east,
Yeah.
and you just keep going and keep going,
Right.
and build relationships, and it helped that I knew a lot of people from my previous employer as well.
Yeah.
You know, you roll into a town and you know Joe is the owner of this automotive repair shop, and you can go in and he'll tell you everything that's going on in town. Hey, there's a new owner going over here. Hey, this restaurant just changed. You know, like, and it's a lot of good information, right? But yeah, I just kind of run my areas, and it's like once you get one in a town, you can kind of take over. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 accounts in these little towns, and
Yeah.
you get one, but there's other towns I have no accounts. You
Right.
know, it's just kind of, and I do have accounts in Columbia as well, but I don't just stay there.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'll go anywhere.
I think that's very smart. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the more counts you get, you take care of them. I've gotten some referrals in St. Louis. I don't work St. Louis, but you know, I've gotten 2 just by taking care of a lady in
Referrals.
Columbia, and she's like, "Hey, I've got two friends that need help. Go help them." You know,
That's
and
awesome.
I'll go do that. But
Yeah.
I don't really work St. Louis or Kansas City.
Well, and you're not. I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before. You're not losing many customers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've got people that go out of business, or maybe they buy a proprietary software or something like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? What are you doing that is helping you keep such a low attrition?
So when I sign these people up, I try to, my mentality is I want to keep them, I want to give them the best deal that I can give them, and to try to keep them forever.
Right,
And
right.
I've told someone this a while back. I'm like, I want you to process with me forever.
Right.
And she looked at me like, what do you mean forever? I'm like, forever. I said, I'll take care of you. You call me, I'll answer my phone. You know, I said, this is how I make a living. I've got 3 kids. Like, you know,
Yeah.
this is how I make money. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if I want you happy, and I think I've only lost 1 account to a competitor.
Yeah.
And I've
That's
signed
awesome.
over 100 accounts.
Right. Absolutely.
And
yeah.
occasionally you'll have a restaurant go out of business, or I've lost a couple restaurants here that have closed up, but you can't control that. But to get back to how do I do it? I mean, when I go into a town and I've got accounts, I stop in, I say hi,
Yep.
you know, need anything, what's going on, just, you know, keeping that, I think your dad said it really well, your portfolio is a living, breathing, if you're not checking on your customers, and there's some that I have that are, you know, far away. I don't make it up and see them that often, and I'll call them out of the blue. Hey, how you doing? You know, just checking on you. I haven't been up that way in a while. Is there anything you need? That kind of thing. You know,
That's great.
I like to do it in person, but getting to the point where I'm getting so many, it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's
a good
hard.
problem to
Yeah,
have.
it's a good problem to have. It's hard to keep tabs on. You know, I've got probably 103 accounts. I got quite a few. You know,
Yeah.
but it's. But yeah, just
Approximately 103 accounts.
I think there's about that many.
Approximately?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So, but yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
That's awesome,
It
man.
is, but it's been good. It's been really good.
How's the transition been for you from W-2, where, I mean, you were an employee obviously at Aramark, and I assume at the Pepsi distributor, or the
So
how's it been for you?
So when I was thinking about leaving Aramark, I was thinking of like, I'm tired of being told what to do, and no, you can't take a day off, and like I remember when we had Blake, our youngest boy, my wife went to the hospital at like 1 o'clock, and her brother was able to get up there with her, and I'm out running a route, or I forget what I was doing, but like I didn't show up till like right before he was born. Like if I would have missed that, like that, I couldn't get away from work to get, I was 2 hours away.
Yeah.
But it's different. But I wanted to do, when I left Aramark, I wanted to own my own business, and I couldn't think of any, and I didn't have a lot of money to invest or anything like that. But it was hard at first. It was like I can't work without a paycheck.
Right.
And my wife, I don't think really understood when I started doing it. I'm like, I'm not going to get paid for a while.
Right, right.
And the great thing about it is you go out, and even though you're not making any money, I kept telling myself, the hard work you're putting in now is going to pay off later.
Yes.
So like, I'm actually not getting a physical check,
right,
but I am working hard, and I am going to get paid.
You're writing the check now that you're going to cash later.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's kind of the mentality that I had when I first started, because that first check, I think, was like $42. I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. This isn't going to cut it for a month, $42. But just slowly, after a year, I think I was making more than what I was at Aramark.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
Keep building, man.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah,
it's been good.
So when you think about it from a sales standpoint, right? We talk about that, we're in sales, right? Yeah. But sales gets a bad rap, right? It's that because I think everybody thinks of think of the used car salesman in a cheap tacky suit, on some movie somewhere, something like that. I don't think what we do is really sales, right? How do you look at that? How do you think about that? I mean, are you you're not out there trying to trick and manipulate people, right?
And most business owners take credit cards, so you're not really selling them anything they don't already have.
Right.
And there's a lady, I just signed her up a couple months ago, and she was like, she was using Square, and she's like, I was in a lease and have had lots of problems with people like you. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you don't know who I am, right? And so I talked to this lady for probably an hour, and she's like, okay, I'll do it. I'm like, okay. And she's like, but I want a picture of your driver's license. I was like, well, that's fine.
Okay.
So we get everything wrapped up. I say I'll be back next week to install your equipment, and I left, and I got about 10 minutes down the road. I'm like, I never gave her a picture of my driver's license. And so when I get back in there, I got everything installed, and I'm getting ready to leave. I'm like, hey, do you want a copy of my driver's license? And she's like, no, I was just messing with you. Don't I trust you or whatever now. But really, you're just building relationships with people. And there's times I'll walk in and I'm like, this guy's rude, or this person's rude, and I'll just walk away. Like, I don't have to, that's the great thing too. Like, you don't have to do business.
Such freedom in
that,
right?
It's like, I don't want to do business with you, so I'm out of here.
I think that's something we don't talk about often enough, is that freedom to be able to do that when you're in, if you're W-2 and I got to hit 9 sales a month or whatever.
Doesn't matter. You're signing them up.
I'm signing those people up, but there's a freedom in that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Absolutely. That's a great. I always tell Farnsworth, I'm like, he always, he'll call me, this guy, whatever. I'm like, you don't have to do it. Like, it's, you can find somebody else to replace him. I mean, you don't have to. Right. And that's a great thing too. If you lose one, you can always. I mean, it's all on. Yeah, hey, I had a restaurant go out of business. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go replace that with, it's a great industry to.
It's a living, growing organism of your portfolio, right? Yep. Yeah, it's growing and shrinking based on your efforts.
Yeah.
It's all on you there. Yeah. So what What drives Brandon Springer? Like what is it? What is your motivation? Is it, some people are like, man, I just want to hit this certain goal in income. I do this for my family. What drives Brandon?
I like money.
Yeah.
I do. So the money, I want to have, got 3 kids. I want them to be able to, do things that I wasn't able to do when I was their age. And, the money part, the freedom of, being able to, leave work at 2 today because I have to take someone here, or Friday I'm gonna get off early because we're going to Kansas City, or whatever the scenario is. But I would say that, and just I've got 3 kids to feed. They eat like a lot, so it's we're constantly going to the grocery store pretty much every day. You're like, Dad, I want steak, or Dad, I want spaghetti, or and like they eat a lot of food, so got to make a lot of money to keep the kids fed. But no, it's
and they're all in competitive sports too,
yeah,
right?
and that's not cheap either. Yeah, gas money, and
doing all that,
putting a lot of miles on cars, and so. But yeah, I can't sit at home, so like even if I don't have anything to do, like there's something. If you can't find something to do, you don't want to work.
Right.
There's always something to do.
Always something.
There's always something that needs to be done.
Right.
Whether it's just going checking on customers. There's days like I don't feel like talking to people. I'm like, man, I've got a cold or whatever. Like I don't really feel like going out and making sales calls, so I'll go out and just check on my customers.
Sure.
And that'll lead to, hey, there's my friend's opening up a restaurant down the street. You might want to go talk to them.
Right.
That kind of thing, So that kind of just being out in the field. I don't do like a lot of phone calls. Mine's all opening doors, getting in the car, driving, in person.
Yeah.
Because so many companies do. You walk in and there's, I get people like you calling me all the time. Well, I'm not calling you. I'm here in person.
Walked in your door,
yeah.
right?
How many people have you had in the last month walk in your door?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. And I take care of this person in town, and then you get their attention.
Yeah.
So.
And I love that part of it too. Is the and I think when you talk about people that get started in this industry and they don't make it, it's because I think they gave up too early, right? They didn't see themselves through this, and the power in when you have one customer in that town, one customer in that business park, whatever it is, and then you can point to it as a reference. Well, that's massive. It sounds like you're utilizing that a lot.
Yeah. I remember it took me about 3 weeks to sign my first deal. And then I got like 2 days after that, I got another one. And then the next month it was like 6. And then it just kept, but it was like the first 3 weeks, I'm like, I don't know if I can even, I'm talking to people, I'm getting statements, I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing. I just can't get anybody to sign it. Like I couldn't do it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But once you get that first one, it's like, I can do this.
Right.
And for me, like I have a goal, and it's not like a really hard goal. I try to keep it very obtainable. I try to get 1 deal a week.
I love that.
Just one. And that keeps me motivated to, okay, I'm out, I get one, I'm going back in that town next week to install it. So then I can work that town and then follow up with, when I go back and do the install, I'm back in town. And it just kind of keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
Because that feeling of, yes, I can do this. There's been weeks or months where it's been 2 weeks I haven't signed anything. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But then you get that one, you're like, yes, I can do this. I can.
Yeah.
I can
back.
Yeah. And then there's days you'll get 2, and you're like, man, I can really do. You just get that
I'm the
feeling.
best ever.
But that's kind of the thing that keeps me motivated too. Is just having a easy goal. That's pretty obtainable.
Right.
One a week. You're out talking to people. You should be able to get. Yeah. So, but that.
I think that's a great way to look at it because, and I love when I get the opportunity to kind of whiteboard that out. I use that same example of just sign 1 deal a week. And for somebody who might be listening to this podcast that's in some other arena of sales, or maybe they're working somewhere where they're required to get more, 1 a week sounds like that's all. That's not 4 sales a month. That doesn't sound like very much. But when you really start adding that up, that consistency of and you're adding 50 customers in a year, it's a quick path to 6-figure income and beyond very quickly.
Yeah. And like I said, there's weeks you get 2, and but just keeps me motivated to go out and just find, okay, I got to find one this week, you know.
Right,
and then
right.
Wednesday, you know, if Wednesday don't have it, you're like, okay, on Thursday I'm going out, I got to get one, you know.
Yep.
So, but that's what keeps me motivated.
I love that, man. I love that. What so somewhere out there, somewhere in America, there's someone listening to this podcast right now, and they're like, dude, this guy's got it figured out, but I don't have it figured out. I can't get anyone to return my calls. People keep, you know, kicking me out when I go in there to cold call. I just don't think this is for me. I'm gonna go sell cars or go do whatever, go work at the mill, whatever it might be. Yeah. What would you say to those people? Because I'm sure you've had those moments of doubt, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've had those moments where it was like, this isn't for me. What would you say to that person?
So I would say think outside the box, right? So most sales, like you go to a strip mall and like, most salespeople are going to go to that. Look for accounts off the beaten path that don't get a lot of, try to be smarter than the next salesperson, right? Okay. Work harder, and I just try to I go into a town and there's already a rep. He's got, you know, like I'm gonna outwork this guy. Like, you know, I'm gonna do what it takes to get traction, and it's just you just gotta stick with it. Like it's there's days that are super frustrating. I'm like, man, I hate this, you know, and there's other days that are rewarding. So you just gotta keep opening doors and keep talking to people, and you'll figure it out. You'll find it. Yeah. You got to stick with it.
I asked this question of a lot of people that I just asked you, and that's I think if anyone's listening to this podcast and has listened to multiple episodes, they'll hear that same thing. Just keep going, right? Just you know, like Dory says, you just got to keep swimming.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Got to keep going, man. Got to keep going. What is just last question for you? What is your favorite type of merchant to sign up? Is there a type of merchant that you're like, man, these are like my golden ticket?
I would say automotive repair.
Yeah.
My dad was a mechanic for 30 years. Nice. So I can walk in and I feel comfortable, and that's another thing too. If you're not having success, go to the places that you're comfortable in. Some people like restaurants. Restaurants are okay. I don't like walking in at noon. I'll go in if it's before noon. I'll go to restaurants, but after, you know, if you're comfortable at a restaurant or an automotive or a veterinarian clinic, or I mean, I got probably every industry. I mean, I've got a lot of different crazy, never thought of, you know, there's food trucks, and I got a roofing supply, heating and cooling. I mean, I got all kinds of different accounts, but I would say whatever you're comfortable with. For me, it's automotive, and I've got a lot of automotive repair shops.
Being able to talk the talk helps a lot.
And it just, that feels, to me, that's natural. You know, I walk in and they just feel like we're friends already before we even walk in. You know, we can, hey, look at that car out there. That's cool. You know, whatever, that kind of thing. But
there's a lot of power in that, man.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of power in that. In going in places where you feel comfortable, you can speak the language, and they feel like you're one of them.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Absolutely.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate you being here,
thank
man.
you so much for having me.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Agent First podcast. We'll see you next time.